You're going to judge me, but it's fine. I'm used to that.
Always. Welcome to 5-3 Podcast. I'm Doria, joined by my former coworker turned co-host, Brittany.
Hi.
Hey, Brittany. How are you doing?
I feel like every time you ask me that, you just get this maniacal chuckle from me. But I feel like I'm doing okay, mostly because me and my child are
I love it. I love that you've got mommy and me bling.
It's very special. It's custom from Amazon.
Only the finest of faux diamonds up in here.
Exactly. But as cute as my child is, my other child has the cutest little shoes that are going to fall off. But like,
so for those who aren't watching, Brittany has a Labubu that literally looks like he probably runs a less than above board business down in Florida. Like he's in Miami. He's got like.
Can we just acknowledge these little shoes that are little shirts?
They're pretty funny.
They like also don't fit the feet. Like,
I mean. But when they stand, they you can't tell in pictures.
Okay, do your Labubus actually stand up on their own?
I don't have a standing one yet.
Oh, that's
I don't have a Macron. They're all in the mail, like literally taking their trip around the world.
I see why people get upset because they don't actually fully stand on their own. You like have to adjust them, and then they like kind of stand, but they have to lean on something. It's like it's not as
well. I mean, for one, their heads are like baby heads. They're like huge. And two, a lot of people buy stands for their dolls. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. I have mine
Wait for
on
me
a
to get
cell phone
irritated
stand.
when they come. We'll commiserate together.
So next week, stay tuned, everyone.
Yeah. I've got mine back here, just chilling, sitting, perched, living its peaceful Zen life.
Making sure the Lafufu doesn't do anything nefarious.
I mean, with a face like that.
It's so cute.
This is like the derpiest Lafufu, and I mean, he
just like constantly falls.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
It's so good. How are you doing?
I don't know if there's a word in the English language to describe how I'm doing. I'm here. I showed up, and you know what they say? That's like, what is that? Like 50%? Of the battle.
Yeah.
I'm here. I always show up.
Fun. I used to tell my spin classes the hardest thing is getting here.
There you go. Motivational spin. Brittany says the hardest thing is just getting there. So
I mean, that was a lie. A full 1 minute standing run was probably harder than getting there, but
I think we tell ourselves that just to get ourselves or other people to just do it. It's all the lies we tell.
I think that's called a little white lie.
It's something. That's for sure. Well, I'm excited to actually talk about today's topic because I have a lot of feelings and thoughts about it for a number of reasons. But Brittany actually shared an influencer's profile with me earlier, and it is a perfect example of that super toxic projecting a specific lifestyle and persona in order to not just give people entertainment, but to make people believe that one, that person has achieved it, and two, honestly, to make them feel jealous and as if that's something that they should strive to achieve too. I've talked about this on the podcast before. I spent some time in the influencer world from a couple of different angles and definitely came into contact with some pretty wild stuff. And I have a lot of feelings about the way that this impacts other people and also the amount of super manipulative strategy required in order to actually maintain these facades. Mm-hmm. So, Brittany, how did you come across this influencer?
So, Instagram loves to throw this person in my just for you as I'm scrolling along.
Mm-hmm.
And I took the bait. And for a minute, I legitimately thought this was rage bait because the first video was things that I didn't know were privileged and I thought were normal growing up, which is so... It's absurd. But then you look around her and everything in her bedroom looks very cheap. Like she has this canopy. What is it? A canopy? What are they called?
Yeah, it's a canopy.
It's like a canopy type thing over her bed, but it clearly just looks like a piece of cardboard and like sateen, not even satin, pretending to kind of drape over it. I'm like, something's off here. And it's just these wild stories about her living an extravagant life as a child and people didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen her enough.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? If you smell smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
Let's dig. Oh, and dig I did.
I would expect nothing less.
It's just, I feel like we've reached a point now where so many influencers, and I have my own gripe with a lot of it, right? Like
Yeah.
the amount of free things they get just to get you to buy more things. It's consumerism at its peak, right? And it's frustrating because you see influencers getting these hot ticket items that are gifted. Yep. There was a girl in the UK that got all of the new Labubus. That almost started a riot. Yeah. And you have people that you should be gifting these things to that are genuine good people that
creating
are just
good content.
Exactly. Like, but instead you go for the influencers, and the contracts, like, as I'm sure you can speak to, are really high value. And I kind of just reached my breaking point earlier where I'm like, I'm done. Like, I don't want to see people worshiping you, saying you have the best life. I aspire to be you. And I'm like, she's not even her. I'm willing to bet.
Right. Is there a world where it's satire? Just because I only watched one piece of content. Is there a world where it's actually meant to be satire? No. Okay.
Nope. And I think even having dug as deep as I did earlier today, like, it is very clear. I think what it comes down to is she wanted to be an actress. And so with all of this, she is playing a role. And in her mind, she is this person. She has all these things, which I feel like has to be kind of awkward for her family to kind of sit with. But at the same time, the reason her stories are so good and she can validate, I'm going to put in air quotes there, a lot of what she says is because there's a hint of truth behind every kind of lie. It's all just very wildly exaggerated. And I mean, it's tough, but I mean, she goes around saying she basically wants to be Blair Waldorf from Gossip Girl, right? Like, life of privilege. Look at my, like, I have all these wonderful things. Right. I haven't, what was it? I've washed my hair 10 times in my entire life. I've always had someone to do my hair. Yeah. Yeah. Someone's always done my hair for me. Like, we had staff at my house growing up. And so as you kind of dig into that, and, you know, I think when Jace was on the podcast, we talked about how much information is available online. And I'm surprised no one's dug into this sooner. But I was the one. And you just kind of see that there's a morsel of truth in everything she says, right? So, yeah, she technically did grow up in a really nice house, a nice 6-bedroom, 5-bath house.
Okay.
In Kansas.
Okay. All right. I was like, that go for a lot up here.
Yeah. Which suburb in Kansas was like, okay. Current house valuation is still under $1 million. So I wouldn't say it's the level of wealth where she knows the Queen of England.
Who's no longer with us, by the way.
Yep. But apparently good family friend.
Okay.
Kind of went down that rabbit hole. The thing about a lot of these people, though, is it just takes finding one connection and the whole thing unravels.
Right.
Like, her mom's Facebook is public.
Oh, it's always, we talked about this. It's always a family
the mom.
member.
It's always the mom. It's always the sister.
Mom, an aunt, a sibling. Yeah.
Yep.
Ex, who they had pictures with at some point.
Exactly. And it was just so easy to kind of go down this path where she did some smaller acting jobs when she was younger. Her mom is her biggest fan, which is kind of adorable. I almost worry about the other 2 daughters because the mom's entire Facebook is like, she is perfect. She did go to the college she claimed to have went to. Like, that checked out. But all of these other pieces about, like, having staff on hand, I'm like, oh no. Like, when you say you had staff, I'm willing to assume it meant she had a landscaper, which a lot of people have someone that comes to mow their lawn and tend to their yard. Like, oh, she probably had, like, a housekeeper. Yeah, a lot of people hire people to come and clean their houses. Like, that is normal. That's not staff on hand.
Right. That's not like live-in staff or staff that make their living by being on your payroll.
Exactly. Another one was I was constantly at the White House. We did all of these things. Like, I went to the White House Congressional Picnic. And then you dig into that. Her dad worked for the Department of Homeland Security at some point. So, of course, they were there, willing to assume he was working the event and they got to enjoy it. Like, all of these things, again, it's the way you tell your story. It's not about what is the true situation there. It's not the reasoning. It's, I did these things. And, like, her closet tour, like, vintage Chanel pieces and all of these other things. And I'm like, those things are very cheap. And even back then when she's claiming to have bought them, those things were still like $200 back then.
Yeah.
Now they retail for $100. I have a pair of Chanel boots back there that I bought on the Real for $120. Like,
Yep.
were they worth more in 2010? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Can I pretend that I did that? Sure. Right. But it's tough. And you see her apartment and the way it's decorated, nothing about it screams old money, wealth, anything in that category. But she tries so hard to project it. But every single thing in her setup is based on this fabricated kind of extravagant life, when that isn't exactly the whole story.
Right. And it's particularly toxic because then you have young people, and she seemed like she was like probably what, mid-20s?
27.
Okay, so late 20s. So
and she claims to be an OG like Tumblr girl. I'm like, did you even know what Tumblr was? Were you old enough to use Tumblr?
Interesting.
Yeah.
But you have younger people who spend a lot of their time online who don't necessarily know how to analyze whether or not something is real or not, which I have kids who are in their late teens, right? Yeah. And so I'm seeing that more and more in my own children. And it's crazy because they don't have that anchor that we had for the in real time, real person scenario versus like the virtual. A lot of it is virtual for them. So you see this person projecting this lifestyle and inviting you into aspects of their very carefully curated life, and you patchwork it together and assume that that's the full story. Everybody does that to a degree. Like we've talked about this before. I don't think you should put your whole life on social media or online at all, right? Like we're very much in agreement about that. But there's a difference between only inviting people into certain parts of your life and curating parts of your life to project a very specific lifestyle or image. That's where it crosses the line for me. Those people always get caught. Like always. Like somebody.
I mean, I figured her out. And so from an ethical standpoint, I'm like, I want to say something so bad, but that's not my job. Like, I feel vindicated, right? Like, I knew it. I called it. I'm good at what I do and was able to dig just enough. And the hard part, honestly, isn't the fact that I found all this. I think the hard part for me to process is the fact it took me less than an hour.
Yeah.
Like, it was probably 22 minutes between the thought of like, I'm going to dig, found something, found it, like, and then it was just a matter of piecing things together. Like, it wasn't even that complicated.
Right.
And that's one, terrifying. But at the kind of other side of it too is you watch people kind of like try and dissect it. And one of her videos is like, I'm going to tell you who my dad was. And then she cuts off the video. And I'm like, of course. Also, her dad has done a great job of scrubbing himself from the internet. But again, works for the Department of Homeland Security. Like, he is aware. Right. And it's just, I don't know. I feel bad because reading some of those comments, aside from the one person that called out her IKEA closet.
That was the first thing I saw. I was like, okay, first of all, these are not custom built-ins. I've actually worked around custom built-ins before. Like they have you can tell when something is high-end versus like low-end mass produced. That's just a reality. Yeah. Like if you've been around enough products for a long time, right? Like in general. Yeah. That is not what's going on there. And that's okay. It is okay to have an IKEA closet. Right. I have IKEA in my home. I've got there's nothing wrong with that, but I don't pretend it's something else. I also have custom built-ins that we have personally done. Yep. There's a huge difference between them. There's also a huge cost difference between that.
Exactly. And I think it's tough because you see so many girls that are like, oh, I want your life. Oh, you're so lucky.
That's sad.
And it's just, I mean, don't get me wrong. She grew up upper middle class. Like, she didn't grow up anywhere near the poverty line. Like, she had money growing up. But at the same time, she wasn't born into this kind of like extreme level of wealth and prestige like she's playing. And it's so sad to see so many of these girls just be like, oh, and you can tell it's not even, because I know it's a thing, right? Like these creator houses, and it's common for people to rent out these mansions for the day. Right. She doesn't even go that route. Instead, she pretends she has this modest apartment that her family pays for. But when you look at it, I'm like, ma'am, those are your dining room chairs. Like, I can see them in the background. I'm pretty sure I had those in the 90s. Like, what are you doing? Yeah. Because again, the image isn't coherent. But so many people can't, and probably honestly don't want to read into it because it gives them something to aspire towards. But
for sure,
again, she isn't even that version of herself. It's somebody she's been curating for years at this point.
So when the dawn of YouTube really like became such a big boom, right? So like I think of that period around like 2007, 2008 when influencers were not only primarily driving consumerism for that age group, but also entertainment. Like people were
Yeah.
going to YouTube instead of like for example, I mean we're getting Netflix in the mail still at that point, but like instead of watching
Yeah.
cable TV or like movies, right?
Yeah.
And
Like,
it was great because it was like essentially free content, right? Like you're
mhm,
paying with your viewership. But people quickly realized, hey, there's a massive amount of value to having someone influence other people, hence influencers, in this way and tapping into it.
yeah.
And you can see like the OG influencers, for example, I think of like the beauty industry when I think of like OG influencers, for example, Temptalia. Like I think she has such integrity and I think she's wonderful. But you've seen how that kind of content is no longer at the top of the charts for viewership anymore. Why? No shock value.
Yep.
She's just honest. And again, she's in a very specific niche versus like someone who just does like reaction videos or, whatever the case, like something like that, like very curated content to make
Mhm.
someone feel like they are less than and continue to consume, potentially buy as a result of that,
Yeah.
overconsume,
Oh, she's
overspend.
starting a clothing line.
Everybody has some Fashion Nova like sort of line out that I
It
swear to goodness, and no shade to Fashion Nova, like they're fast fashion and they're doing their thing. But it's so many influencers who are like, I designed it. You did not design this. Like you did not literally bring sketches into like a manufacturer and have them produce your stuff. You found a mass producer who will
Mhm.
piece stuff together for you and slap your name on it, in my
Yeah.
opinion. That's what a lot of them do, right? Like,
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
don't, it's also scary to me too, because then it's like, if these children, younger people watching this think that this is attainable, how do they think she got there? Like everything was handed to her.
Yeah.
If you don't grow up with wealth, how are you going to accumulate that kind of wealth?
You're just never going to. So you have to watch.
Right.
It's so like part of me wishes it was rage rate because there's
Mm,
like that is a whole other industry.
for
There
sure.
was a really good article that I read about it recently that kind of talked about how it's so popular, not because people want to
Mm,
see it, but because it gets shared constantly because people are tagging
hmm.
people like, can you believe this?
Of
And they're
course.
commenting, they're engaging. So technically the
Yeah.
engaging content is being thrown to the top. It's being shown to more people and it just
Hmm.
continues to go from there. And it is it's irritating. But again,
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
made to irritate you intentionally to
Yeah.
generate engagement, which
Get a
is
reaction.
yeah, it's so absurd.
Yeah. So back when I was dealing with like that world, I saw a lot of things that were just super concerning for a number of reasons. I mean, one, I'm someone who loves real people, and I think that's one of the reasons why in our podcast, like you and I are very very honest about our opinions about things, and while we don't share everything, like what we share is genuine.
Yeah.
And I remember watching people in real time portray certain things, whether it was an experience we were, curating or on or whatever the case was, right? And I was at an event and there were a number of what I would call like minor celebrity appearances going on. And people were trying as much as possible to get content with them, either they're in the background or with them, whether it's picture or video. And at that point, we hadn't fully switched to video. So it was like a combination of the two.
Mhm.
And I remember watching this one mom. I will never forget this. I actually have footage of it. This one mom watching one of the folks that people wanted to get pictures with walk by. She yells to her daughter, and her daughter cannot be more than 7 or 8 years old, yells to her daughter, go after this, individual. And her daughter is kind of like, okay. And then she takes her and she shoves her forward to get closer to this individual
Oh.
that's walking. I was with my family at the time,
Mhm.
my nuclear family, my children, my husband. I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, does she realize she's in public doing this and like
Oh, they
that
don't
nothing
care.
is worth that? No, and that's what killed me. It was like the only people who were going to see that were other either influencers or people working the event. She did
Mhm.
not care what anyone, and she probably wasn't even aware that we were like right there when she did this, because all she knew was that she wanted to get the footage, the carefully
Yeah.
curated footage that she wanted in that moment of her daughter having this experience with this sighting of this individual. And it's like, that to me shook me so much because I had seen other things and I knew like listen, I knew how people were buying views before other people knew that people were buying views. I
Yeah.
knew how they were buying followers. I know all of the hidden crevices of how people used to get engagement without having engaged followers. Because what people didn't understand back in the day, you could actually acquire a following, but they might not engage with your content because a lot of people did it through
Yeah.
like giveaways and other things, or they bought them, right? Bots didn't engage with your content back in the day, but there were other ways you could do it. And that to me was actually more shocking than any of that.
Mhm.
It was disgusting. It was foul. And
Do you
that's
want
like
to
the
know
tip of the iceberg.
one fun fact about bots?
Yes.
A decent amount of those bots were just having a great time following you. And not you, but in general. They're also scraping content.
Of course. They're
So they're stealing your content to like
Yeah.
feed into currently
Mhm.
a lot of AI models, which
Mhm.
the way that we give companies our data sometimes is terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, what was that trend like a year or two ago where you upload a picture and it would generate what you looked like in high
When you're like,
school?
yeah, or
Yeah,
when you're a baby or when you're 70 years old.
exactly. All of those things are just data collection to scan your
100%.
face for age-based biometrics. And it's sketchy companies that do it, but really respected tech companies that work in the digital ID space
Mhm.
will buy all of that data and say, this person is really 37. This is what a 37-year-old looks like. This is what a
Yeah.
27-year-old looks like. And that goes into build age verification things. But nobody realizes that
Mhm.
if something is free,
Yeah.
you are the product.
100%.
Terrifying.
It really is. There needs to be more awareness. I think honestly, we should have classes about like privacy and data and online presence and footprint in high
Yeah.
school, like at the high school level when you're, and even in college too.
Yeah.
I think it should be a mandatory thing only because it's so impactful to your life. People don't realize, and we've talked about this before, right? Nothing on the internet ever really goes away.
Oh, no, 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 no,
It
no, no.
lives in infamy. And so thinking about that, I mean, when this girl eventually decides that she's exhausted by maintaining this, what is she going to do? Just like fade off into the shadows? Like pivot? We've seen people pivot. We've seen
Yeah.
plenty of influencers pivot, right? I don't know. That kind of content would never resonate with me. I like people who are real and who are like, hey, this is the challenge or the
Yeah.
struggle of my life. This is my real life, right? I'm just not, and I'm not the target demographic. I'm too old and clearly
Yeah.
like that wouldn't resonate with me. I don't want to be her. But again, just thinking about the harm that it does to young people who don't have the ability to determine what is and is not real and
Yeah.
feel badly about themselves
Well,
because they don't have those things, that life. That's awful.
well, then they put themselves in debt, like extreme amounts
Mm,
of debt because they
yeah.
want those things. They need to look a certain way. They
Mhm.
need to shop the new Revolve line. Like they have to buy
Mm,
these things from the bar and these other big influencers because it's what's cool.
mhm.
And I think they're missing out on the point that like all of these influencers are in the business of selling you things. Like
100%.
they're not real people. They
Yeah.
don't care about you. And
Yeah.
when I was younger, I did a lot of acting and took acting class, like typical
Mhm.
LA kid, right?
Mhm.
But you learn to create a different persona, and actors
Yeah.
will do this as a way to kind of disassociate from who they are versus who
Mhm.
they are when they're kind of in acting mode to kind
Mhm.
of protect their privacy and keep certain things for themselves. And that's what these influencers do.
Yeah.
They have these different personas that are crafted, curated to what's going
Mhm.
to sell because they
Mhm.
don't care about telling you about their morning routine. They care about telling you and selling you
Right.
about this new skincare cream that's going to just completely take away
Mhm.
all wrinkles that you've ever had.
Mhm. And
And
their
they're going to,
green juice mix.
exactly. And they're going to tell you about these problems you
Mhm.
never knew you had. Like
Mhm.
my neck wrinkles. Oh, I look old. I am dated. Oh my gosh, I'm
Mhm.
over 30. I have neck wrinkles. Doria, I went back through all of my old high school photos because I do that regularly. I've always had these bad boys.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
am I
Literally
telling?
just from
What
like
is happening from
yeah.
living?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
but
I
if I
know.
buy this cream that
Mm.
is made from fairy dust
Yeah.
and
Ground up
dirt
unicorn horn.
and a dash of beef tallow, they'll be gone overnight.
The beef
It's all
tallow.
beef tallow. I saw a
Yeah.
surgeon that was doing this like rating beauty trends thing, and he loves
Mm.
beef tallow. I was like, what do
I
I? But
can't.
that's just it. What do you believe when everyone's trying to sell you shit?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and they really are. It reminds me of the Truman Show where the
Yeah,
wife would literally stop and be like, let me sell this coffee to you. Let me sell this cocoa to you. Like, let me, whatever. That is literally the world that we live in now where people are selling their image constantly online to make income off of monetized content of some form.
What's interesting though is their images, and there's one woman I follow who I adore her. I think she's
Mhm.
hilarious. She's like her what's her it's like Trailer Park Pretty. And I love her journey
Mm.
because her lifestyle, like she loves living in her like trailer
Mhm.
park mobile home, like, and you watch her go from this like old double wide with
Mhm.
soggy carpet holes to like a nice
Yeah.
new double wide. And
Yeah.
that's her glow up. Like she just got new teeth.
Yep.
And it's just a really cool story to follow. And I've followed her for a minute, but
Mhm.
I love seeing her succeed.
Mhm.
But this new issue's come up where people are commenting and unfollowing her because she's no longer
Mm.
relatable. And then at
Yeah.
that point, I feel like a lot of these influencers that start out very relatable, like
Mm.
this is who I am,
Mhm.
get bigger. They get those slightly bigger contracts. Like they can
Yeah.
do more things. They go
Yeah,
through a
yeah.
glow up and then they become less quote unquote relatable. But
Mhm.
at the same time, what is kind of that breaking point where they go from being like a genuine person that attracted this following because they're genuine, but also celebrating their success because it seems like there's no clear rules for what people
Yeah.
want to see and when they actually want to be happy for you. But at the same time, if you come into it pretending you've got a life of
Mhm.
luxury, you
Mhm.
just are playing catch up then to make enough money to continue to live that facade.
Yeah. I think people don't realize that evergreen content is actually really, really rare. And evergreen content is something that is not impacted or affected by like the current trends or whether it is or is not like current. It is always applicable. And
Yeah.
so when I think of that kind of like, let's talk about family vloggers and things like that, right? Like
Ugh.
your kids grow. Well, we'll talk about the ethical side, but like
Ugh.
your children grow. You are no longer carting around toddlers. You're then it's young children who are in sports, and then it's teenagers, and then eventually they go to college, and then eventually they go and have their own lives. Like there is
Mhm.
an expiration date on that. And I worked a lot with like that group where people tried to figure out what does life after my children hit a certain age look like, and a lot of them struggled and like backed away completely, or they pivoted and they tried to be like a mom or female or whatever, like professional person, vlogger, like blogger, influencer, and they couldn't find their footing. And so they went from niche to niche to niche, trying to like hit on whatever it was, and they just could not figure it out.
Yeah, there was what was that mom?
Which one?
There's some really good documentaries on like Hulu and Max right now around this
Oh,
where
the one who's like super abusive to her kids, and the other woman
yeah.
was also involved.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that was dead. Like the poor boy
Mhm.
was duct taped and hidden inside a safe in the basement of someone's house because
Mhm.
he didn't want to make content. But then you have the other
Yeah.
side of it with that other girl whose mom created the content house and would be mean and neglect these poor kids, but
Mhm.
demanded they film content with the daughter, and the daughter's 17 now. But
Mm.
the wild thing is she's like, I'll tell my story when I'm 18. But
Mhm.
she's been making content with, do you know what a bop house is?
No?
Okay,
Oh
so a
gosh.
Bop House is a house for content creators that do OnlyFans content.
What?
So yeah, so the Bop
Okay.
like
I
there's a
mean,
lot
it
of drama
only
with
was
the
a
Bop
matter of that
houses.
makes sense. Okay.
Don't ask how that ended up on
So
my
they
feed.
all do they all live together or do they
Yeah,
just
so they,
okay.
but it's terrifying because I
Mm.
have so many thoughts on this in general because they recruit young girls to join the Bop House, create content, say they're making a ton of money. They get referral fees for the people they bring in. They get a
Of
portion of what
course.
they're making.
Yeah.
So
It's MLM. It's like
it
totally
100% is.
multi-level marketing.
And the sad thing is these girls are like 17, 18, thinking like, oh, that's my future. I can make a lot of money. They don't make nearly as much. And the reason those girls are making as much is because these younger people
Right.
are clicking their promo, like referral link, right? But with
Mm.
that girl whose mom created her content house when she was like 7, she's
That's
17.
so crazy.
She just put out content with the Bop House, dancing around the house as a 17-year-old.
Oh, I is that even allowed? Like, listen,
Yeah. That's
like
that is
OF
the,
allows underage people to appear in their content?
no, so the content's on Instagram. But it's her saying, "Oh, I'm visiting the Bop House," flirting with the idea that she's
Oh,
gonna go
flirt
down
with
that
the
path.
okay. Wow. Yeah, I disagree with social media allowing content like that.
Oh,
Period.
yeah. It
That
is
is not appropriate.
like her entire and like her Instagram, in my opinion, needs to go. It's like, and
Mm,
I think I might have touched on this before, it's just enough to not be removed, but I'm like, she's
of
a
course.
17-year-old girl. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
No, I listen, I'm not super conservative about a lot of things, but when it comes to children, children are children. Period. The end.
Absolutely.
And even when you hit 19, 20,
No,
21,
you're
like
still
your frontal lobe is
yeah.
not fully formed yet. And I just disagree with anything that flirts with that concept or that
Nope.
idea. I also, this kills me. So, like I mentioned before, there are people who couldn't find their footing when their children got
Yeah.
older, who I've seen infantilize their children, and they continue to go to children events and things like for
Mhm.
younger children, and they've got, like an adult child essentially almost.
Yeah.
And they're still going to these things, and it's like that that child cannot still be interested in this. Like
No.
there's
Well, that's
very little
exploitation.
chance. Yeah, like you know that you can't go yourself because that'd be kind of, why? Who's going to
Yeah.
watch you, right? But you're having this very mature child now still participate in these very young child things because that's where a lot of the consumerism is, right? Like you're buying a lot of toys and a lot of experiences for younger children.
Yeah.
You buy less with a higher price tag when they're older, but it's not as frequent.
It's
I
just
don't agree with it. Don't allow social media to navigate or influence how you navigate parenting.
absolutely not.
You know,
Ugh.
it's not good. I think that it's like the trips. Like I remember, who was it? Was it Tarte that started the
Oh, the
beauty
influencer
trips?
trips?
Yes. Where it was like, why are you going to Miami to have a barbecue and play in a pool, but you're trying to sell me like your
Oh,
newest
they've
mascara?
gotten crazier. Didn't they take them
Oh,
to
they go
like
international.
Dubai, Greece? Like
I
it
don't pay
is.
attention
No, to
anymore.
Fiji, I think at one
It's
point.
yeah, it's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous to me. First of all, that doesn't sell me a damn thing. You know what
No.
sells me something? When it works.
Yes.
When it works. Like I don't care where you're taking people. I don't care about the influencer trips. I actually don't understand the marketing math behind those trips. Cuz I
Oh.
can't imagine they're actually resulting in a direct volume of sales.
So my problem with just that into like the brand trip in general, I think
Mhm.
is and same thing with like the Revolve House at Coachella, where it's just like this
Mm,
massive gifting suite where you're getting all these big products.
yeah, it's unrelatable.
It also just makes me angry towards those brands because I'm like, that's how you decide to spend your money by rewarding people that have the
Mm,
money to buy these things.
right. By
But you
gifting them
just
those things.
exactly. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's I get why they do it. It's if you're seen with it, then that's gonna sell more because people want to be like you. It's this concept of people want
Yeah.
to be you, right?
Sure.
But at the same time, like Solwasu, you know I love
Mhm.
Solwasu.
Oh,
Like
yeah. You
they are
love a
my
Korean beauty brand.
it's like their stuff is so fantastic. But they just did an entire brand trip to Korea for a bunch of influencers and they
Mhm.
gifted a ton of influencers their stuff. I
Mm.
have never been more turned off.
Mhm.
I get irritated
Mhm.
because I'm like, oh, so this person who's like, I'm gonna try this cream for the first time. Yay. Oh, it's so cool.
Mm.
Just got a free trip to Korea and
Mhm.
like $1,200 in skincare. And I just spent $160
Yep.
on a now smaller size cream because you
Yep.
decided to cut off half an ounce. Like,
Yeah.
seriously? I don't
Yeah.
want to see this. And they repost it.
Oh,
And I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't want, like, you're rubbing it in my face. I absolutely
Mhm.
hate that.
I would respect if, for example, a Korean beauty brand or any Asian beauty brand brought people out to like experience how they manufacture it and the culture behind
Yeah.
it, not the consumerism of it, because I think brand awareness is important, but I think that it needs to be spun in like a really meaningful way.
Yeah.
So if your brand contributes to like, I don't know, maybe you have less waste than other companies, or maybe you have like individual farmers actually providing whatever your
Yeah.
spin is, right? Like that's the stuff that I'd be like, okay, that's money well spent to have an influencer come out and
Yeah.
experience it and learn firsthand. But I don't care about you just bringing people out to go to Seoul to like eat some street food that they're probably not,
Yeah.
really enjoying, and then giving them like
They
an
didn't even do
entire
that.
sweetest.
They
Yeah.
took them to a spa. They had a dinner. And then I think they
Mm,
took them to like one attraction. Somebody got in trouble recently.
okay.
Who was I want to
Like a
say it was
brand.
Tarte. Yeah, I want to say
Okay.
it was Tarte again with their like
Hmm.
chaotic brand trips
Mm-hmm.
where they decided to announce they were making a donation to something had just happened. What
Okay.
was it? But they made like a $10,000 donation after like something bad happened.
Was it
And they're
like the
like,
fires or something?
yeah. Oh my god, it was the LA fires. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
so everyone's partying in like
Yeah.
Mexico or
So tone
Tahiti or
deaf.
something. Yeah. And they're like, okay, and also just so you all know, we're going to make a $10,000 donation to the LA Wildfire Relief Fund. And you see these influencers jumping up and down, clapping, cheering, wooing, like, oh my God, yeah, oh, that's so great.
Mm-hmm.
And people were like, I'm sorry, what is this dystopian world where these people
Right.
are partying? And then they pause
Yeah.
the party to say, we're doing this. We're going to make content about it. Let's
Mm-hmm.
celebrate. Let's repost it. Like,
Yeah.
it was so, oh, it was so weird.
I would have respected if they said for every 10,000 views these influencers get on this video, we will donate like $10,000. You know what I mean? Like make
Yeah.
it about raising money so that you're clearly tying the viewership to
Yeah.
raising that money, and then $10,000 is a drop in the bucket. That is one seat on that trip, probably.
I was going to say, yeah, because they fly everyone business. It's business and you get to bring a friend.
That's so tone deaf and honestly falsify. You know, there are brands who are so intentional and mindful of how they navigate things, and they actually contribute to like real stuff, right? And then there are brands who are just tone deaf, and it's like, what are you doing? Like, but unfortunately, you know, consumerism, like people are still going to buy. How many people honestly will stop like providing patronage to a brand or to a store or whatever as a result of something like that? Probably not as many as we'd hope, right? I can't always succeed because there are some things where I'm like, I actually need this thing and it's only at this place. And unfortunately, or like budget wise, like it's a privilege to be able to decide where you put your money sometimes.
Yep.
And not everybody has that privilege. But you do have that privilege with your viewership. Everyone does.
It's just, don't like. There was also that big Super Bowl situation, right? Around the Super Bowl promo from what's the water Poppy? Oh, do you remember the Poppy controversy about the refrigerators?
I do not. I check out of the Super Bowl stuff, like unless we're in it, I don't know.
Yeah. So Poppy, that water company, who just got
it's
acquired
like soda,
by
right? That's got like stevia and something else in it.
Something like it's garbage. I hate it. It had a moment, but the founder decided to send PR packages to these like big influencers and then made a Super Bowl ad out of it. And that was like their big Super Bowl moment. Okay. They sent influencers full-size Poppy vending machines.
Oh my gosh.
Like these expensive vending machines were delivered to people's houses with like swag inside, like it was a whole thing. And then people posted this content. And then their rival, I want to say it was Olipop.
Okay, that makes sense, yeah.
So Olipop, well, they didn't send it to Olipop, right? Like Olipop decided to run with it because people were on fire. They're like, do you know how expensive those machines are?
Yeah.
You could have done so much good. Like, why are you wasting money on these people that already have everything?
With a vending machine.
Yeah. Olipop was like, we don't spend $15,000 on gifts for influencers. Instead, we do A, B, C, and D, and outlined the good that they do.
Right.
Right. And they like gave away a bunch of stuff to random people. Like if you commented on their stuff, they were DMing people or something like that to be like, we have a free case of Olipop for you. Like, I've won an Olipop giveaway. Me, this little nobody.
You're not nobody. You're somebody, Brittany.
Look, I'm a regular
You're a regular person. Always.
I can't believe I fly out tomorrow. I'm tired. Don't ask about my flight. I know what you're thinking.
I'll keep it to myself.
You already know the answer.
I know. So, you know, when I think of a brand, like any brand that really puts their money where their mouth is, puts themselves really in the thick of their beliefs, first and foremost, Ben and Jerry's. I respect the shit out of Ben and Jerry's, and they have been so consistent to their beliefs and the way that they will absolutely not back down. And it shows like in the people that have brand loyalty to them. Like, listen, they are actually not my favorite ice cream. But will I go out of my way if I'm picking to like bring that home instead if they don't have? Yes, 100%. Because I have the ability to do that in that moment. And also because I want to support them. Like I support what they're about. It's so crazy to me. You can have someone like Ben and Jerry's and then someone like Tarte. And it's like, how do you exist in the same plane of reality? I don't know. And Tarte, like me as like a massive company owner, like no one cares about those brand trips anymore. Those were old in like 2010. Okay. You don't need to do them anymore. No one gives a shit. Use that money for good. Maybe develop better products. I don't know.
I don't think I went through a really big Tarte phase for a while.
I have
But
never
I
liked their
feel like,
foundation. Like caked.
oh yeah, well that's just it. It gradually got worse. Their
Mm.
Amazonian clay foundation,
Oof.
like, was great for a minute, but at some point they changed the formula and it would just separate, and it was like, ooh,
Eh,
awful. Do not recommend.
I'm trying to think. They had a fiber mascara that was actually pretty decent back when fiber mascaras were really, really popular. Don't wear them, by the way, if you have contacts. That's not a good move. Saying
Oh, it
someone who
gets all over the contacts, and I learned that
100%. Why you
the
put
hard way.
Yeah, I learned that one the hard way and then
Mhm.
continued to do it anyway. But
Yep.
the point is, I've never been a huge Tarte fan. I didn't think that they were that great. Their shade range, in my opinion, was not good for a more global complexion range. And I never found their products to be something that resonated with me. But I know plenty of people that like them. And I think they had like Marijuana oil in them or something that people liked, whatever the case was.
Yeah.
The reality is, those brand trips are not worth it. Like, put it into product development, put it into
Yeah.
like worthy causes. Why? Who are you trying to reach
Yeah.
with that?
It just,
Other influencers who are like, ooh, I'm going to promote you more so I can get on that brand trip? Because that's what that feels like to me.
you know who surprised me with their pivot to actually doing influencer marketing, because they never used to? Chanel.
Oh,
Like, they went from being this, like,
yeah.
Hermes would never.
I mean, Chanel kind of went down a slightly more bargain friendly. I say bargain friendly. They went down a slightly more budget friendly path with their, what was that youth? I can't remember what it is. It's got plastic packaging. The price point is a little bit less and it's multi-use products. So it's like lip, cheek, something else
Oh,
products. Very different for them. Also, again, like it's like their youth. What do they call it? I don't remember what the range is, but it is still Chanel. It's still pricey, but the price point is slightly less.
Yeah.
And I think that was their like grab at like trying to reclaim, I don't know, young people.
Maybe like
Stick with what you know.
Yeah, but like
I like Chanel cosmetics.
They're sending purses to influencers. They would never have done that historically. And now every influencer has this new Chanel bag, which is a cute bag, don't get me wrong. But I knew something was up because people are like, oh, it's the new bag. I'm like, this is supposed to be impossible to get. How are you all?
Right.
And then some girl casually freaked out. It's like, oh my God, Chanel sent me a bag. I'm like, oh, we're doing this now.
Doesn't YSL do that too, though?
YSL, yeah, they've done that for a minute. They had the big Icar, I don't know how to say it, like massive tote that Lenny Kravitz's daughter had, and it's still
Zoe Kravitz.
It's like it's like a $5,000 tote that's just like obnoxiously large. It's so unnecessary.
Yeah.
Louis Vuitton did it for a minute. They don't do it as much, but Chanel was kind of seen as like this prestigious top house that would never
more mature.
They don't need to. Yeah, but because they need this younger kind of demographic, now they're working with Dua Lipa, they're working with Jenny, and these like younger pop figures. I'm like, have you lost your way here? Because don't get me wrong, like they're just a classic old school fashion house.
For sure.
But to see them need to evolve and pivot while still raising their prices 10 to 15% year over year is kind of like,
I mean, I guess it goes to show, because if you look at like the demographics that really spend money, it started to sway to like younger and younger demographics, right? So it was like teenagers are buying makeup in like mass consumption now, which is not the case when we were younger.
Heck
you
no.
know, they weren't going after us at 11, 12, 13. I mean, Lip Smackers was, but like that's pretty much it. Yeah. But like makeup brands weren't, right? Like CoverGirl was, because CoverGirl was in drugstores and it was accessible to us. Although let me tell you the ways that they never, ever, did you ever do CoverGirl foundation?
Yes.
They did not cater to our shade range. it was not a no. did not go well. But you know what I mean? Like those are the brands that were catering to teens when we were teens, because it was like price point like $5 for a foundation, $6 for a foundation, or like, you know, cause whatever compactive eyeshadow. These high-end brands, these luxury brands going after younger and younger demographics, that's not their money, first of all, that's their parents' money. But it's like, how long is that going to last? And then people like us who would actually be the demographic who could potentially, you know, be a consumer, I'm so turned off by that.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And there's studies that are showing Gen Z doesn't want to spend money on expensive things. They don't understand, like, they're the ones that are driving this whole like dupe culture essentially. And I'm like, here we go. It's just everything's cyclical. It just, I don't know. I'm so tired of everyone trying to sell me everything every time I open my app, and I'm like,
Mm,
I don't need to see this. Like,
yeah.
also, who are you as an individual?
Mhm. Mhm.
'Cause you're not you. You're a persona.
Yeah. Okay, so I feel like our feeds are very, very different for a number of reasons, but I like my Instagram feed. It's been
Must be
curated
nice.
since yeah. So here's the thing. When people send me stuff, I will not watch it in my Instagram if it's not something I would normally watch because I do not want my
Mm,
algorithm to be influenced at all. I
yeah,
will open it up in a browser separately, not logged in. That's how careful I am because I
that's
really
fair.
like my feed. But every once in a while, something kind of creeps
But
in
wait,
there.
isn't your feed entirely Labubus right now?
It is, and that was very intentional because I was, like, searching. I'm like, "What are people doing?" And then it just got funny and I kept consuming.
They just do good.
But the people that I predominantly get in my feed are, 1, people I follow or people similar to them, and I realize now a lot of those women are actually, like, barefaced or barely have any makeup on. They are definitely not purporting any crazy rich persona. They are typically, like, living their lives and just spiraling, and I'm like, "This is very much me." Like, I am 40 something years old, spiraling, trying to figure out my life and how to like navigate it. And so are these other women or guys. And that resonates with me. I could not have that if that girl was in my feed, I would be like absolutely clicking the do not want to see this. How the hell did this get to my feed scenario?
Yeah. Mm-mm.
You know, a younger influencer that I actually think is a really good influence, Sunday Love. Have you ever seen her?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I think she's phenomenal. So she is how old is she? I actually don't remember how old she is. She's got to be like late 20s, maybe bridging like close to 30, but I don't know. Maybe she is. Either way, she's from, I think, California originally. She currently lives in Japan. She works out there, but she's also building a business, like a legitimate business for herself. And she talks all the time about how careful she is. One, she grew up with nothing. She grew up like with absolutely nothing, and she has built her own life and so has her family like individually, but she talks a lot about like the realness of stuff, like things she does, the hustle, like the constant work, and it's like genuine work. It's not like influence, I mean she is an influencer, but it's not like influencer work. She's like building her brands and stuff like that, doing real things, real estate for example, stock market, like real things. I find people like that to be such a great example of how you can actually be an influencer and use it to help educate and also motivate.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like I think I sent you a profile the other day. There's this woman that's blowing up and she's called the People's Princess, essentially. I forgot her username. But
Mhm.
she's from a very well off family. She's engaged and she talks about
Mhm.
all of her like expensive stuff and her like bougie lifestyle. But she's also just a really nice person. She doesn't do
Mhm.
it to like be boastful, be like, I'm
Mhm.
so privileged. It's just like, oh, so this is what we're doing this week. Okay, I
Mhm.
also have a business degree. This is why dating is like science. These two things
Mhm.
are not going to, and it's just the way she talks. She's just very personable. She's
Mhm.
very sincere,
Mhm.
and it doesn't feel curated. It's
Right.
her. Like that is her life. She's not projecting anything. She's not faking things like that other girl who's like,
Mm.
let me validate and explain to you why I'm these things. Whereas this woman,
Right.
you just know, but
Mhm.
also she's warm. Like
Mhm.
she's very personable. She's like, come along for this journey. Like, let's do this together. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to be your friend so bad. I
Yeah.
mean, she also straight up said she wouldn't date anyone that wasn't in her tax bracket, essentially, because she doesn't want to feel financially responsible, and neither party should feel financially responsible for the other. And
Mhm.
she wants to make sure the risk going into it is equal because she like, and she explained it really well from a business point of view. I
I mean,
was like,
also prenup regardless.
oh,
But
100%.
yeah. I mean, so definitely older, but the Queen of Versailles is actually super just entertaining to me.
Mm,
One, she does not come off to me as like a super snobby elitist, despite the
yeah.
fact that there's a lot of wealth. Her husband, who has now passed, had a lot of wealth. And she lives a very privileged life, obviously. But
Mm-hmm.
she originally came from nothing, if I remember correctly. And so there's still this like I don't know, this like homegrown like humility somewhere in there. But she lives this ostentatious lifestyle. But she's
Yeah.
also not telling people like you should live this way or you should feel
No.
badly you don't live this way. And so I find that entertaining because I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, you want to put like 17 chandeliers in your family room with like 25, 30-foot long couches? Like, you do
Love
you. I'm
that for
entertained the
you.
shit. Yeah, that entertains the shit out of me.
Mm.
But she's also not telling me like, but you can't afford this?
It's just
Like,
like,
absolutely cannot.
no.
Not in this economy. Not in any
Oh my,
economy.
that prenup thing, by the way,
Yeah,
I dated someone for a minute, and at some point prenups
for a
came up, and
minute.
I was like,
Wait, how long were you dating that? Why were you dating for a minute and you were talking about prenups? Was it just like a
it
casual
was like a
conversation
general,
or
yeah,
like?
kind of like, yeah, it was
Oh,
like a
okay, yeah,
conversation.
that makes sense.
And so
Were they pro or against, or did they not have
they
feelings?
didn't understand why I wanted a prenup. They're like, why would you get a prenup?
What?
And I was like, why would I not get a
Mm,
prenup? I don't understand. Like, you do your thing. Like, I'm going to protect my assets. And do you know what they
mhm.
said?
What?
Do you like have a lot of assets that it would
Did
even
you break
matter?
up with them right then and there? You did.
I,
You did. You continue. You dated them for a little while
I
longer, didn't
dated
you?
them for like 3 more
Oh my
weeks.
gosh, Brittany, Brittany, no.
But you should have seen the look on my face when they were like, I mean, do you have a lot of assets? I was like, does it matter? They're mine and they are not yours.
Oh my
Like,
good
oh my God.
Lord.
I mean, I obviously have enough assets to have matching
I mean, you look at
27
the
karat
iced out
gold.
Labubu. Like,
I
do you
mean,
even question?
me and my son,
Mhm.
obviously, like we ball,
Right. Yes.
but it's mostly sponsored by my
Paycheck.
underground Labubu's nefarious habits.
He looks like he's someone's sugar daddy, Brittany.
He does. But
Mhm.
you know what? It's cute.
The one
though.
with the skirt.
Oh yeah, where's she at?
Yeah.
That's her man.
Yeah. I can't. Here's the thing. Like, I'm so proud of the fact that I believe I read women have a significantly higher volume of solo non-married individuals that own houses now compared to men. And nothing could make me feel more excited for women than that. Because I think we've come so far. Regardless of who's trying to pull us back. Like, women are trying to provide for themselves and they're aware of the fact they can. They're aware of the fact that they can be independent and they're willing to take that step, right? To have like individual home ownership, for example. I love that. I love that for women. We've talked about it before. Like, I remember my grandmothers who were both born, one was born in the 20s, one was born in the 30s, pulling me aside when I was a young girl. I mean, like, you always have your own money. You always have your own bank
Okay.
account. You do not disclose what's in there to
Yep,
your
same.
husband. And I was like, hell yeah. And I stand by that. Like,
Yeah.
and if
It
you
was
can't find a partner that agrees with that, don't marry them.
100%. Like, I'm down to get a joint bank account where we both
Sure.
put money in, but like
100%.
I got into another argument with somebody about that. It was a different
Did you
person.
stay with him after too?
Sort of. But they were like
Okay.
I thought I could fix them, okay?
Oh, well, I mean, we know.
That's fair. But the conversation was around like, why do we need a joint bank? Like, why wouldn't we have a joint bank account with everything? And I was like, why would we? I don't
Like
understand
all
the
funds
question.
put in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, absolutely, like, no. And what if I always go back to the same like the same example? What if I want to buy someone a present? Like, what if I want to buy you a present? You're gonna know. Just like I don't share my location, you're gonna know that I'm there. No, but it's the principle. Like, you don't need to know what I spend my money on.
Exactly.
And they said, that sounds really shady. Like, I was like,
that's autonomy as an adult.
Exactly. I'm like, you don't need to know my business all the time. Nope. Like, absolutely not.
No, I know people feel differently about this and people are raised to believe differently about this, but like, I feel very, very firmly about this. Like, I believe that everyone should maintain a level of autonomy despite being married, because you cannot be a whole person if you don't have anything that's yours.
Nope.
I would hope that people do not go into marriage being like, well, when we break up, right? But the reality is, it's always a possibility, right? People die, people get sick, people change, people just drift apart. It just happens. Marriage does not make a relationship any more successful than another relationship, in my opinion.
No.
If anything, it makes it more challenging because now there's like legal obligations.
Yeah.
That you have to
people
think
are
about.
Good at people.
Right. 100%. And at the end of the day, like, I don't know. That was from my grandmothers who came from very different cultures. And they said this. Yours too.
Even like growing up, yeah. My nana always said you always have something on the side. Like, 100%. It's kind of like a go bag in case you ever need to go.
Yes. 100%. I remember watching my nana, my Italian nana, tell my mom to like sock money away.
Yeah.
And being like 100%.
You don't need
That's
to
what
know
you
what I
do.
have.
No, no. And like, I don't know. Again, my Italian nana was like a badass bitch. She she got married 3 times.
Good for her.
First one, that was disastrous. Second one, I think he actually passed away. He was lovely. And then the third one, they just decided like, hey, is this no, neither of us really want to be married. And then she stayed single for the rest of her life. And she's a badass bitch and she did her own thing. She had her own house, she had her own money, she had her own job.
She had her
She
own house.
dated.
She had
She
her
did.
own car.
She did. She really did. And I just remember thinking, she had a red convertible, and I just remember thinking, like, wow,
Yeah.
she's a badass bitch. Like, you know, and she was Italian. She was like hard as nails, but like just very, very intelligent with the way that she navigated her money and like her life and stuff like that. And I respect that. I
Yeah.
think everybody should do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so all these influencers too, who I know that some of them are satirical, but like the ones who are like, I don't do anything because my husband pays for this and my husband does this for me. I'm just like, I don't even find you entertaining. You're just
I love this all,
gross.
like the woman who's all about like welcome to my soft life. I'm like, I'm so intrigued because again, like I don't believe everything, but she's one of the few people where I'm like, oh no, that it like you are living a very soft life. I'm
Oh,
like,
for sure. I don't.
I get bored.
It's
I go
probably worse
so
than what she
insane. Yeah.
shows, actually.
Oh yeah, it's a highlight reel. Like it's all the happy
100%.
stuff.
Yeah,
Nothing is
I'm
real.
also sure that she probably actually does less than what we think she does. Like I think she actually lives a softer life and she makes it look like she actually does something. Like I don't think she like gets herself upright in the morning. I think someone else props her up. I think that's the level she's on.
That's what I want. I'm kidding.
Oh
I'd be
my
so
gosh.
bored. Ugh.
No, yeah, I can't. I just again, I feel like with influencers, everyone needs to be careful about who they are giving their views to. And think about it like money that you're putting in the bank. Like every view is like a penny, right? Like where are you going to spend those pennies? Because you only have so many hours in the day.
Yeah.
Are you just hate watching content?
Sometimes.
I don't know why I can't hate watch content. Like if I
Well, you
dislike you,
also will just stop watching a TV series.
I
Like you
will.
can abandon things. I can't. I
I
need to finish what I start.
I mean, 3 weeks later, yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't. Yes. I 100% will. I'm like, full stop. This is over. Goodbye. Show content of any kind, whatever it is. Like, I have no allegiance to you. I don't feel like I need to finish it. I will just walk away. And so I don't hate watch at all. It mystifies me that, for example, my oldest is absolutely the generation that hate watches things. And I'm like,
Yeah.
but you're giving that person doesn't give a crap whether you like them or not. You're giving them what they're after.
Yeah, but I
is their
like the
engagement.
comments that align with how I'm feeling.
So you feel validated in your
I
hate watching
do.
experience. It's a community event at that point.
It is.
Speaking
Yeah, I'm
of
like,
community, go ahead.
no, somehow I'm part of a hate watching community, but like as a side note, that's a thing. So there was this whole viral video of this woman that was like, Instagram is trying to divide us as a country. Me and my boyfriend are looking at the same video and look at the comments and it shows us at the top. And it was so like, it's easy to get upset when you see that because you're like, oh my God, of course men hate women. Like, look at the things they're seeing. Mm-hmm. But then you take a step back and look at what actually happens with the algorithm. I'm like, man, your boyfriend is liking mean comments on Instagram. It knows what he's engaging with. That's why 100%. That says more about him than Instagram.
Oh my gosh.
Man,
okay.
Please run.
Kind of related, but not. I was in a group once with other influencers and I'm from New England. We don't say bless her heart, but like bless her heart. This girl comes in and starts a thread and she's like, guys, I don't know what's going on. I'm on my husband's computer and all the ads on my site are pornographic. And we're all like, what? And she's like, and she shares a screenshot. She's like, every single ad is showing up this way. She's like, can someone please tell me like how to get to like the executive or enterprise level support for my hosting company, my blah, 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 blah. Help me. And we're all just like, does she not know how ads work on your browser? Like, does she not understand how cache and cookies work? Does she not know what influences the ads that show up in those iframes? And so we all kind of sit there for a bit and like watch, and she's spiraling. She's like, I'm calling them now. Like, this is unacceptable. I can't believe the other people who are seeing this. Like, I have this demographic for viewers, blah, 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 blah. And we're all just like, oh. And there was a side conversation. We're like, do we tell her?
Tell her.
Like, how do you tell her? How do you tell? And And the irony, like how she did not put two and two together, that she was on her husband's computer. And those ads are completely influenced by your browsing history. It was, I don't remember if someone told her. I genuinely don't, because I'm like, this is between married people.
Yeah, that is, yeah, 100%.
And like, listen, if someone is cheating on someone, I will 100. I have literally gone after friends who are cheating and been like, you fucking tell them or I will. Like that, I'm like, I cannot be a bystander to your cheating. That's a hard thing for me. But something like that, I'm like, oh, I don't. You're gonna hate me when I tell you why there's porn on the side of your website on your husband's computer. I don't want to live that life.
Nope.
It just, bless her heart.
Yep.
I hope she figured it out. I hope she did. But yeah, I don't know. Again, people are funny, and I appreciate people who are willing to let other people into the messiness of their lives and the good things, but the realness. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. That's a thing, man.
It is. That's what
No
we try to bring every week.
over here. Obviously.
Could you literally, I feel like our like tagline should just be like unhinged and unfiltered.
I mean, that's literally,
It's
whenever
what it
people
is.
ask what the theme is, I'm like, it's kind of chaos for the week. I don't know. Do we have one?
Yeah.
Like, what is our brand is chaos?
Our brand it's like real chaos. It's
Isn't there a
two
movie?
adult Oh,
I think it's a documentary. I want to say it has to do with the public relations world. If I'm not mistaken,
that would make so
I
much
wouldn't
sense.
be surprised.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. It sounds familiar. That's funny.
I like how I studied PR, and I'm like, I think that's about right.
I love how you came from PR and I came from marketing, and then we landed in tech. That's a story for another time. Like,
yep.
That's just funny. But no, I don't know. I think that ultimately the goal is to just be two adult women in a specific age bracket, like fucking trying to figure it out and sharing our opinions along the way.
And collecting laboo-boos.
Listen, when all of that sponsorship money comes in, we will be just as unhinged.
We'll delete this episode.
I will pin this episode and I'll be like, see, still unhinged, still unfiltered. But actually
we're
paid
gonna
now.
sell you shit now.
No. So, okay, I'm trying to think. What's a product?
When do we sell out?
We don't sell out. We just get really well paid for creating fun content.
So Tart comes to you and offers you a $45,000 contract.
No, I would say no. I would not. Nope. I would not want them. Oh, I would not want my face anywhere near them for so many reasons. No.
You would not go on a Tart brand trip.
I would absolutely not. Would you go on a Tart brand trip if they invited you to one?
Bro, first class flights.
I would not. No. I would not. There are definitely brands I would. Oh my god! If Pat McGrath came and was like, she doesn't do brand trips because she's like actually got real shit. Oh, so they were in New York with other influencers.
They definitely did because one of the.
But it wasn't a brand trip. It was like an experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Of like, yeah, was it like the makeup show? I can't even remember. So. Either way, 100%. Pat McGrath. Like if they did. Well, I don't feel like she'd do brand trips. I feel like she would do like it'd be like New York Fashion Week, and she'd have people go behind the scenes, like stuff that made sense. But
stuff you can buy with 10,000 Sephora points. Because that's like their Sephora experiences are basically that, right?
Yeah, it's true. Okay, what's a product that you would potentially want to basically have on here as a sponsored product?
Solo soup. They need to make it up to me. I'm too angry.
Did you hear that?
I want to be the influencer.
Round Lab should friggin' okay. So I have an affiliate link for Round Lab who I have used for years, and people actually do use my link on Instagram. But if they were to offer me something, like I will sell the shit out of your line.
Did you know?
Docto, so good.
Yeah. I had so many referrals for Postmates. I was considered a top Postmate like contributor. They sent me a bunch of free credit. I was quoted in a BuzzFeed article for Postmates. Like,
Brittany.
It was a thing. Like, because Postmates was new to Portland. And I capitalized on that shit so hard. Like, to this day, all of my old coworkers know URDF. It became a Slack emoji. That's so anytime funny. I would comment on things. But that was my taste of, like, the influencer lifestyle.
We didn't really have Postmates here. So that was not something that really blew up here.
Now I'm a DoorDash girl.
There you go. I mean, DoorDash, I have horror stories from them.
I do.
Round Lab, I would 100%. If you want to sponsor me at any point, even just send me free product. Like that would save me money. That'd be great. Who else? I'm trying to think of like an actual non-cosmetic brand. I mean, if Sure wanted to send us new, Pop Mart. You know what? Okay, if Pop Mart sent us stuff,
did you see the Christmas gift they sent people?
Where they sent them like everything?
The giant gift box of gift boxes that kept coming out.
I did not see it, but I believe it.
It's like, it looks like a mat. It's a chimney. And you open the bottom and then you just keep pulling out different sets of blind boxes.
That's actually
the Labubus really they sent them weren't in boxes. They were just in the bags.
I think they did that.
I think they did it so you can't regift them.
Yeah. I mean, I would still regift them in the bag. Like,
but you don't know what they are. What if it's a secret?
They have money. They could buy many, many sets if they really wanted one. They probably already have one. I would. Okay, so products I actually like I love our Shure mics. If they wanted to, I mean, we're not that kind of podcast, but I would 100% not say no. You know, what else? Oh, Yeti. I've spent so much money with Yeti over the years. I would 100% take a free Yeti. Mm-hmm. Hydro Flask too. I'm not a Stanley person. I can't get on that train.
I have my Stanleys. I haven't used them in a minute. I went back to my Yetis.
I think they keep things nice and cold. I like them.
I ran a test. I actually tested them both. Mm-hmm. I do not remember the results, which tells you how memorable it was.
Did you do this when we worked together?
I did.
Okay, I thought so.
Because you were giving me a hard time about my Stanleys, and I was like, let's test it. Except I have the cutesy ice machine, so it wasn't.
Oh, yeah.
And that I love pellet ice, but it melts so fast. It's not good for scientific experiments. Or most things. It's not like an immediately consumed beverage.
Right. I mean, I gotta say, so I don't drink a lot of cold beverages. I actually this is so controversial in this household. I like room temperature water. Cold water actually really hurts my throat and chest. I can't, it actually makes it seize up. I don't like it.
Interesting.
Yes, but I love a hot beverage, and Yeti keeps my tea hot I used to be able to get 5-6 meetings in and it'd still be hot.
I add cold water to my coffee in the morning because it's too hot.
I mean, I don't want it to burn me, but no, I like a hot beverage.
I like my coffee to be mid-temp.
Okay.
I mean, just above room temperature.
Oh, no, I don't want it tepid. I want it to be hot, but I don't want it to be scalding. I don't know what hot's yeah, no. But I can't do really cold drinks. I can slowly sip a good boba or something like that. You know what I mean? Iced. But my water, I want it to be room temperature. So, all right. Well, we need water companies and stainless steel, whoever's to sponsor us. Oh, we should probably wrap it up. All right.
Yeah.
We're
getting rambly.
We are. All right. Until next time, don't forget to like and subscribe. We drop new podcasts every Wednesday on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Also video content of the same nature. And we'll see you next Wednesday. Careful who you're viewing.
Bye.
Bye.